Is it absence or is it distance?
I think it's absence.
Well, I guess it's the same thing, right?
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
No one's ever said that.
Let's ask fucking ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's been in their I'm gonna abuse ChatGPT era. Like,
I am.
Yeah. Like
I'm
people are
literally-
like, but there's people
We
that
could
are
do a
like,
whole episode about ChatGPT.
literally.
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of The I World. We're asking ChatGPT if it's absence makes the heart grow fonder or if it's distance makes the heart grow fonder. But either way, we missed you because it has been a few weeks since we've chatted. We were on a little bit of a spring break. We had some traveling going on, lots of life events, and we're so excited to be back and chit chat with you. So I think we'll do a little catch up first.
Oh. The classic phrase is absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Mm-hmm.
It means that being away from someone can actually make you appreciate and miss them more.
We know what it
But
means.
a lot of people mix it up and say distance makes the heart grow fonder, which still makes sense and gets the point across, just not the traditional version.
Did you say that yourself, or is this a really say that?
You thinking of using it for a podcast?
If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Brittany.
My name is Talia.
And we are so excited to talk to you guys today.
We're also sisters who, if you haven't tuned in before and if you don't know us, who do you think is older?
Oh, that has been the question lately.
Of the fucking century. And let's just say they've got it wrong every single time.
But it's like, do they get it wrong because they want to be nice, or do they really get it wrong?
They really get it wrong because you give little sister energy a little bit.
In what way?
In your new like era of Brittany.
But you think
She's
that just
cooler.
with like style.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm cooler. I just finally give cool for the first time. And that is one of the things that's so great that I've realized. Getting older doesn't mean you lose your aura. You know, it doesn't mean you lose your vibes. You can actually get better vibes. Look at Demi Moore. Have you seen her lately?
You talked about her where she was like
40
40 was the best year for life, or like in her 30s or 60s.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sorry. Yeah. 70, 80, whatever you want it to be.
I just love that because I always used to be so scared of getting older because I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be cool. Like I'm going to be the coolest in my 20s. And I just think that's not even true. Like, I just think like, especially now,
Cool's a mindset.
It really is. It really is a mindset. Well, I just got back from a trip to California. We had a nice little start in LA. I got to hang out with my brother and my mom and my brother's girlfriend and my other brother. And then we had my best friend's engagement party in San Clemente, California. So that was like really why we were going on the trip. But we decided to make it like a whole shindig. And then we ended the trip in San Diego. And it was so nice. I actually really wanted to vlog the trip, but I didn't end up vlogging because I was really like very present, which I feel like I am present when I'm vlogging, but it was just different. It was just a different vibe. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be in the moment, spend time with my family. I actually had like an epiphany. I don't know if I talked to you about this when I was there, but like a lot of you guys know that Talia and I used to work for a family business, and our family business closed in December, and we're doing like content full time. And we've talked about that a lot on the podcast. But as our family business has closed, it's been like, there's always been a little bit of a door open, and our mom has pretty much been like not really ready to fully close the door. And I honestly think a big part of that was because of me. And I think she felt like I didn't want her to and whatever. And after spending time like with my family when I was away, I was talking to my mom when we got back, and she was just basically saying how like she was stressed out about things with the store. And I was like, you know what, Mom, like this is not the point of life. Like this is not the point of life. It was so nice to actually spend time together as a family, because growing up and like just literally our whole lives, like family and work always were coincided. They always were together. I think being in a family business can be really difficult. And actually, I cherish all of the time I had with my family's business, and we have so many memories, but I'm also really grateful that like we get to just live life like normal people now and get to like find our dreams and not inherit our dreams. It's been like something that I've been working through and like learning how to let go of things that I hold on to things for dear life. So it's been nice to like kind of have that epiphany and realize that like I've also just finished watching White Lotus. I don't know if any of you guys watched the last season.
Let's take a time out. How about the first season?
Yeah.
I'm on episode, hold on.
Wait, we should watch that while you're here.
I am on episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many episodes are in this. I just finished episode 4. I want you to know nothing has happened. There is literally not one thing has happened. It's just them, everyone's on vacation with creepy music playing in the background.
Yeah.
And like some weird shit's happening. So like, yeah, I know somebody's gonna like die, basically. Somebody's gonna be murdered.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They've given me nothing.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's like some really weird shit's happening.
Yeah.
And like kind of gross.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We don't have to.
Well, the 3rd season, in my opinion, was the best. Like, I loved this last season. I don't know if you guys watched it, but there was so much to unpack. Like, I wish we could talk about it, actually, because I wish you watched it. Because there's so many, like, underlying messages that I think are super relatable and just, like, have to do with, like, all the seasons, in a sense, have to do with, like, classism and just whatever. But this last season had a lot to do with, like, women in adult friendships and like the dynamic and how some things can be kind of like fucked up. Like towards the end of the season, one of the messages that one of the girls says is basically like, I poured so much of my life into my career thinking that that was what was going to give me purpose, and it didn't. And then I poured so much of my life into my marriage thinking that was going to be fulfilling, and it wasn't. And then I poured so much of my life into being a mother thinking that was going to feel like my purpose, and it didn't. And what I've realized is that the real currency for life is your time. Oh. Is your time.
I was going to say it's yourself.
But it's your time and how you choose to spend your time.
You have to fill your own cup, right? And let the overflow,
Yeah. So it just was like very.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
It was very profound to me, and it made me realize like how you spend your time is the real value at the end of the day. And I think for me, being able to spend time with my family and have such a nice time together, not having anything to do with work, it made me realize that family doesn't always have to be associated with a stressful thing or an obligation, and it can just be about enjoying each other's company, which like it's never just been that before. I feel like I have so much baggage when it comes to family and family dynamic and just all this stuff that I'm just excited to be able to let go of that chapter officially and feel comfortable closing it, because it's been something I've been struggling with. So that's something that has occurred for me, and just getting back now into routine before our next adventures in May. But what about you, Talia? What have you been up to?
I was wondering how those things were going to all wrap up. I wasn't sure, but that was great. What's been going on for me? I feel like I've been moving around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But where was I?
Well, you had that
Global.
That training. Oh yeah, Global.
Oh,
and then you
seminar.
had the
and then I was here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was here.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Global, right? No, I went to Global, then I came here, then I went to the seminar, then I came back here. Yeah, I've been like a nomad. For real. I've been like all over the place, and I feel like the next couple months I'm going to be all over the place too. But I'm kind of like, okay, like I just have to be okay with it, because I feel like when you're trying so hard to get back into routine and you're like, it's not working, it's not perfect, then it feels stressful. So I'm just kind of going with the flow, just fucking not stressing too much. But yeah, so Brittany was away and I was house/pet sitting. That was a grand old time. It's always nice. I live in like, my home is the size of her kitchen, so it's nice to have a lot of space and a big TV, all that. And then I went to Florida for Global Pet Expo, which is like a huge pet expo. That was my first time going to that, even though like we worked in the pet business. But it was a really cool thing to get to be a part of and like do the social media and everything, and spend time with our brother who also works in that business. So that was nice to get to do that. Come home, and then me, Al, and our friend Joe went to a 3-day seminar in Boston. But it wasn't far. It took us like 3 hours to get there.
Mm.
So that's why it feels like fake. I thought like Boston was supposed to be way further.
I think it's 4 hours.
It took us like 2.5.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like Connecticut, like border.
Mm-hmm.
But that was super fun. I want to do more stuff like that. It was just nice. We got like a little Airbnb. I actually vlogged the whole thing on my Instagram. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. But yeah, it was super fun to get to kind of just like, all we did was like train. So we would go in the morning, go and train. The thing is that like people were there for different things. A lot of the people that were there were like coaches trying to like learn this style of teaching versus like I really wasn't looking for any of that. I was just kind of there for the vibes. So yeah, that was super fun. Then came home, came back here, did it all again. And yeah, we're just kind of moving and grooving.
So something that I personally have been trying to get back into as I'm getting back into routine is getting back into my like personal development and mindset, because obviously that can make a huge difference in just your day and your mood. So before, when I was working full time, I would always listen to like a podcast in the car. But now that I'm home all the time, I really feel like I have to schedule in my podcasting time more. And I try to do it in the morning. And especially now that we do content creation full time, I feel like I'm always trying to film. But I tell myself sometimes I don't need to talk, I need to listen. So
period.
I have been on a Mel Robbins kick, and so has Talia.
Well, okay, let's be so fucking for real. I got you on the Mel Robbins kick.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No, I listened to the therapist episode and I mentioned it to you and you were like, oh my God, I listened to it too.
Oh, I thought I told you to listen to it.
No.
Oh, great episode, by the way. That's
So
how
good.
it got me into her too, because I was like, what's the hype? Like, why is everyone obsessed with Mel Robbins? She seems overrated. But then I was like, maybe she's really not overrated. Maybe really she is that great. But she pumps out a lot of episodes, which I like because I can like easily filter through and click what I want to actually listen to.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But the thing I really liked about that episode, and it kind of kickstarted me back into like having a good mindset, and she actually has like a few series, I think she calls them. And I actually was first introduced to her through the network marketing business I work for, because she was a speaker at my first Ma Nation, or no, maybe my second Ma Nations that I ever went to. And it was such a good one. It was like the best one we ever had because there were so many big speakers and she was one of them. And one of her like theories she talks about is the high five theory. Do you know that one?
Yeah, when you look in the mirror, you give yourself a high five.
Yeah, you look in the mirror, you give yourself a high five, because then it's just like, yay, I did something good, like positive mindset. And like you're looking at yourself and you're cheering yourself on. You can't like give yourself a high five and feel bad for yourself. So,
well, yeah, because she kind of talks about how she led into that was something that was so interesting to me, where she talked about the fact that like whatever percentage of people don't even look at themselves in the mirror because they like hate themselves so much. And I literally was like, that's horrible.
Her even just talking about high-fiving yourself in the mirror, for me, just opens up this like portal and this door of talking to myself. And literally on April 1st, I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I was like, okay, enough of just this like mopey, feel bad for myself, feeling negative, can't get out of a slump, I can't get into a groove personality I have right now, because I just was in that for some reason. And it's time to just make yourself the main character, because I definitely suffer with being like a people pleaser, feeling really like influenced by the emotions of the people around me, and just like feeling like, oh, if this friend's not answering me, what is it? What's wrong with me? Why don't they want to be my friends? If my partner's being like this towards me, why am I not good enough? You know, all of these things that I tie my self-worth to have to do with the people around me, when in reality, that's their problem and it has nothing to do with me. And if I just continue to show up as my best self, I actually can influence the energy, because we are that powerful. You can influence the energy in a room with how sure you are of your, you know, if you're not so easily influenced by something negative someone says. If somebody says something that throws you off, it could either ruin your whole day or it could just ruin 1 minute of your day, and you could go, oh, okay.
I feel like sometimes I'm like, I could snap right back, and then sometimes I let it linger a bit.
But that's the thing, is that if you're constantly pouring into yourself and you're doing your personal development, it's going to keep you in that positive mindset and help you be that kind of like Ira energy in the room, which is like where this whole podcast stems from. I'm listening to her podcast and it kind of motivated me to like look in the mirror on April 1st and be like, Brittany, you are the main character. It's time to start acting like it. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. You are not the supporting role for these people around you. You are the main character here. And it kind of just helped me realize that I need to focus on myself, because if I can focus on being the best version of myself, I can be a better version for everyone around me. And if the people around me are kind of feeling down, instead of letting that bring me down and be like, oh, why am I not good enough? Now I can be the support, but also not let it affect my mood so much. And if they want to catch some of my energy,
If they want to ride her wave,
they can ride my
they're
wave.
more than welcome. We can all hop on.
Exactly. And so
Surf's up.
you guys can do.
I feel like Brittany says the really like, you know, like important stuff on this podcast. Like I just give little jingles here and there.
Okay.
Surf's up.
While I'm listening to all of this Mel Robbin stuff,
Mhm.
and guys, if you are a 20-something-year-old person, you need to go listen to the Jake Shane episode. His podcast is called Therapist, and he says so much that we are all thinking that almost it's like interesting to watch how she responds. It's almost like a therapy session. In the episode, he does a lot of saying like, well, I don't feel like, he'll talk about his insecurities of being in a relationship with someone, and she'll kind of make him dive deeper into that. And he'll say, well, I feel like part of what holds me back from having a boyfriend is like, I don't like how my body looks, and I don't want to be like naked in front of someone, but I feel like if I was, it would be fulfilling to me, and all this stuff. And listening to him be really vulnerable and talk about the things that like, it's not so easy to snap out of sometimes, and how she helps you reframe things and rewire your brain. It's just so amazing. And one of the things she talked about in that episode that really helped me get out of my slump was she was talking about anxiety. And I feel like I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and a lot of like, what if this? What if that? What if I'm not good at this? What if this person feels this way? What if this person treats me like this? And it was really, all of the what ifs were holding me back from being happy, because I just felt like I was doomed. No matter what, I couldn't depend on anybody, and I felt like I couldn't even depend on myself. And she talks about how anxiety is just this feeling of being tethered to fears that probably will never happen. And you don't actually know that any of those things are ever going to happen. And it like leaves you in a chokehold, when in reality, like, none of that's happening.
Yeah.
None of those things are real.
Daddy used to say, like, what is it? Like 97% of the things that you worry about never actually happen.
So
Maybe
I was
the
like,
original Mel.
he might have been. So that was like very eye-opening to me, because I was like, okay, I'm like sitting here stressing about things that probably will never happen. And if they happen, I'll face them when they do. But why am I worrying about it before it even happens? I'm actually attracting it by doing that. I think part of that is that like we are just trained as a society to think negatively and to expect the worst and to be a victim, and almost like if this happens to you, you should feel this way about it. And I have just realized that it's not really trendy or popular to say, I don't care about this. I'm going to just show up the way I feel, even despite all of these external factors. And that's not really what everyone does. So it can be hard to show up that way. Almost feels a little like, am I crazy? Am I delusional? Are these people going to think I'm crazy? But that's actually like the secret to life, I feel. And then she gets into her new thing, which is why she's kind of on this podcasting tour, which is the let them theory. And that has really been so central for both of us.
Let them as fuck. That's all I gotta say.
That's all you gotta say?
No.
Tell us a little bit about let them.
Oh man, guys, where do I start? Let them is like basically kind of tying back into what Brittany was saying, is like you can't control people's perception of you. So like you really just have to let them. So like you don't need to beg anybody to be somebody that you want them to be, or, you know, beg somebody to be a good friend, or beg somebody to be a good partner, or beg somebody to, like, you know, do anything. It's kind of giving like, I don't want to have to ask for flowers vibes. You know what I mean? Like no shade, no tea. I'm not saying that about Al. I'm just saying. I'm literally not saying that. This is giving. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Wait, guys, just
tell the story.
Did we ever tell that?
No. Did we?
I don't know. But literally, we have this
okay.
inside
No, I
joke.
have to give the. Wait. I just hit the mic. I have to give the like backstory to it. So like, I'll do like stuff all the time that makes no sense. That's just like trolling for no reason, for fucking attention, I guess. I don't know. Like I would just like fall off the couch and be like, whoa, you know, like for no fucking reason. So I was falling off the couch and Al was Al was standing there, and I like literally fell. I was falling off the couch and like fell onto him, and I got up, and like my whole family's here at Brittany's house for Christmas, right? And I'm like, oh my god, like I'm so sorry. I like really didn't mean to do that. Like because it was more like I'm not just pranking you right now. Like I actually didn't mean to do that. But the way it came across is like you abused me, and like I'm so sorry.
Like she's scared.
Like I'm scared. Like you're gonna yell at me or something. And then like Brittany was like that. Like basically was like that was weird. And then my mom was like that was weird. And then Al's like oh god. So it's like every time we say anything now, it's like I'm so sorry. Is that okay? So that's
no, it's even more than
Yeah.
that. Like if like
please don't yell at me.
yeah, if something happens and like we're just like goofy and like Al's just like not entertained, like oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to.
Please don't be mad at us.
Please don't be angry. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Please
And
don't hit
sometimes
me.
I'll do it in public too. It's so funny. Because people will look and be like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did we get into that? The flowers
Let them.
thing.
If he's gonna hate you, let
Yeah.
them.
It's just like let them as fuck.
No, but here's the thing. If you really think about it, if you have to try to control how someone's going to react or how someone's going to treat you, is it really, it's not even them
fun.
then. Yeah, it's not even fun.
It's literally like you're pulling the strings of Pinocchio. Is Pinocchio a puppet?
Yeah.
It's like you're pulling the strings. Just let them. Just let them be who they are. If you love them, then...
The thing that I've realized from this whole experience is that when you decide to let them and you don't try to control them, right? And you don't try to control every reaction and how someone responds, because that's something I deal with a lot, especially like in my relationship. If like I get into a disagreement with my husband and then I want him to respond a certain way, I'll be like, you should apologize. You should say this. And then he'll apologize and then I'll be like, well, I didn't want to have to ask for the apology. You should have whatever. Or like I'll say like, you should have came home with flowers. And then he'll be like, okay, I gotta go. And I'm like, where are you going? And he's like, I'm gonna go get flowers. And I'm like, I don't want you to get flowers now. I wanted you to get them before.
Yeah.
It's not fun if you have to ask for it. But
you have to take a step back.
That version of you that's always trying to force someone to be the friend you want them to be, the family member you want them to be, the partner you want them to be, is so low vibrational that you're actually making things worse. And if you just let people be them, and you also then show up as the best version of yourself, you will attract that kind of energy that you're looking for. I feel like in this whole let them theory, it's been very helpful in like not getting worked up about things that are happening. And I feel like it very closely ties to anxiety and just like, I'll tell an example of, I'll keep it vague, but like a friendship issue that I feel like I'm having, which is that I feel like one of my friends is not really showing up or reciprocating the friendship the way that I feel I am.
I've dealt with this in the past too. So like it's just an icky feeling.
We all have had that,
Yeah.
right? Like we've all had friends where we
Like
feel like we're
sometimes-
showing up more than them, or
Yeah.
we feel like,
But I feel like sometimes I might be the friend on the other end too.
yeah.
So
First of all, communication is key, but also I kind of feel like, do I really need to like ask for basic like
No.
reciprocation? No.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting this person be them. Be them. I'll show up how I am. And at a certain point, I'm going to let myself let go of the relationships and the friendships that aren't reciprocating. And if this person wants to show up and be a better friend, then at that point I'll whatever. But I definitely have in the past like kept showing up and kept being the best friend I could be and kept putting.
I feel like me and Brittany have kind of like a standard of like what we expect like from friendship, like what we expect people to do, and it's kind of giving like this is really the bare minimum. Like this
Yes.
isn't like I'm not really expecting much from you, but if you can't give me that, I mean,
Right. So instead of making it a fight or making it a confrontation, I'm just going to let them. I'm going
Yeah.
to let them show me who they are. And then I get to make the decision of if this is something I want to continue to pour energy into or not. Instead of trying to force this person to show up as a better friend because I'm asking them to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it depends on the relationship and the friendship, because I think in some relationships, like if you're in a relationship with like a spouse or a boyfriend, girlfriend, you should be communicating.
yeah, it shouldn't be in a passive aggressive type of way. Is
Right.
what it is. It shouldn't be like I'm just not going to say anything and like blah 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 blah. It should just be in the sense of like, you know, if this person loves you and cares about you and they're going to communicate it in their own way, it doesn't have to be exactly how you want them to say things.
Yeah. So the let them theory has really helped me with just the relationships in my life. And it's also just shown me that I'm somebody who's always been very like, you're my friend and you're my friend forever, and been very closed off to other friendships. And lately I've been feeling like, I literally said this to Tyler yesterday. I'm like, I feel like I have another future best friendship
Yeah?
out there. Yeah.
What's making you feel this
I
like
have
magnetic
I just
force?
feel it. I just feel like there's someone I haven't met yet that's gonna be like a fun content friend. Who's gonna
Okay.
be like just like a friend who it's kind of like the friendships I've had in like my business, but like now I feel like a lot of my friendships from that era are like they're good friendships. We're still good friends, but like everyone's kind of living their life and we don't live close to each other. I feel like I'm gonna find a new, like, really close friend that is gonna be a silly friend.
Okay.
I just feel it. I just feel like I need that a little bit for like when my sister's not around, and just somebody to go, like, be silly with or whatever. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I haven't made all of my best friendships yet.
Okay.
And I feel like part of that is by letting go, because if you're holding on and pouring energy into something that's not, it's kind of like relationships. If you're like so hung up on a relationship that's not fulfilling you, you could be missing out on the love of your life. It's like the same thing in friendships. I feel like I definitely have that issue with friendships where I hold on to things that are not fulfilling because I've put time into them, I've put energy into them, I have history with them, I care about them, but also people grow apart and that's not always a bad thing. So, yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh gosh, the one-liners tonight. This episode is full of those little phrases.
No, because I've realized that I just talk in Hallmark phrases, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because sometimes when one door closes, another one opens.
That could be it. Do you have anything to add to the let them theory?
I was gonna tell a story, but I don't know if I have it in me.
Yeah.
Tell it.
No, if you don't have it in you, let them.
I have to let them because I can't even give this girl any freaking energy because she lived rent. It's no one anyone knows. She's literally a stranger, but I should have let her, and then I added fuel to the fire, and I should have just let her. Long story short, I can't do the whole 9. Like, something about me, guys, is like you get a story and you get it once, and I can't tell it again. It's literally draining for me. Like, the whole let them theory thing is really great for me because, like, I can't do too much. So, okay, here's what happened. At a tournament, Al was sick, lost his voice. I'm coaching for him, right? Spark notes. I'm a very loud person, always have been, always will be. The guy that is competing is facing this girl's boyfriend. I didn't put that together at the time. Maybe that's why she was giving me very heavy, dirty looks. She took the coaching personally. Not personal. That's just how it works here, sis. No problem. So she keeps giving me the nasty looks, nasty looks, nasty looks, nasty looks. And now we're at like 10 nasty looks. So I'm like, what are you looking at? I say this out loud. Shouldn't have said it out loud. Then she looks at me again. I go, what are you looking at, bitch? Like, and because I'm just like, what are you looking at? Like, leave me alone.
She didn't let them.
I didn't let her. I should have just, but not just in the sense of like being a bigger person, right? Like, whatever. Then she freaks the fuck out. This girl's like 4 feet tall. She's got her finger fucking waving around in my face. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, bitch, you better get your fucking hand out of my face. I can literally crush you with my fingers. You're literally Oompa Loompa. Like, don't. Go back to Oz. I can't. So she's fucking waving her hand in my face, fucking screaming. And she's like, imagine being ugly and a bitch. And I'm like, sis, I'm not ugly. So, like, don't lie. I'm definitely being a bitch, and that was uncalled for. But, like, there's just a lot going on, right? So then I apologized. I said, listen, I really shouldn't have called you a bitch. Like, that was my fault. I didn't even mean it like that. I just meant it like, bitch, please.
Yeah.
Not like, bitch. Like, so whatever. You want to run with it, run with it. At least I was like, I apologized, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was the bigger person. I took accountability for where I fucked up. I don't even remember what she was saying. Then Al's like pulling me away from her, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I walk away, but like I can't let it go. Like I can't let it go. She just keeps going in my head, right? And I'm just like, I don't want to let it go. Like, I don't want to let it go. You want to fucking fuck around and find out? So then I'm just like, okay, let it go. I walk around. I'm walking by. She looks at me, points her finger and goes, that's her. And now I'm like, oh no. So now I just stand still. And I love how I told you guys this was going to be a long story short. You're getting the whole fucking story. So now I just stand still and I just look at her. And I'm just like, what? What's me? And then she just stands there and she goes,
Ew.
and I was like, are we 12 years old? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? That was weird of you. Like, you clearly are very uncomfortable right now and you're trying to overcompensate with like flailing around. Don't. So then her boyfriend is like, oh, like, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, all right, so like, you keep running your mouth. Let's just like, just stop. Just stop. Stop running your mouth. And she just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. And she's got her hand in my face. And I'm like, and now I'm not with anyone. And now like my like adrenaline is going and like my heart is fucking pumping and I'm like, I'm gonna hit this girl. But then I'm trying to think about like there's consequences for your actions, Talia. You can't just like fucking go around fighting people. But I'm just like, today's the day I'm gonna get in a fist fight and that's it. So I'm like looking at her and I'm like, listen, like, let's just settle this then. Like, if you want to keep running your mouth, you want to keep screaming at me, you want to keep saying nasty things, I already apologized. And her boyfriend's like, basically telling her to like calm down and like shut up. So I'm just like, that's embarrassing, first off, right? So your boyfriend shouldn't be siding with the other person. So then she's got her hand, blah, 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 in my face. And I'm like, let's just fight then. Let's just go outside. Let's just fight. And let's just settle this then. If you want to keep saying shit to me and you want to keep going, and I'm saying this very calmly, I'm not looking for, you know, I'm literally just like, let me get this off my chest because you're really pissing me the fuck off. And like, I want us to just agree to fight so that like we can just be done with this. So then she's like, you're a big bitch. I'm not fighting you. I'm like, a big bitch? Like, you're literally like fucking rage baiting me. Like, I am not ugly and I'm not a big bitch. Like, I am very normal size. Like, what are you trying to say? So now I'm just standing there like fucking, I'm just confused. I'm like, big bitch. I go, I'm not a big bitch. You're just little. Because she's 4 foot. Like, and 4 feet, whatever. So I'm like, I'm not a big bitch. You're just little. She's like, yeah, I am. I was like, yeah, that's what I just said. And then she's like, so yeah, I'm not gonna fight you because you're a big bitch. I was like, you don't get to just select like that stuff like that. Like, no, like you're running your mouth. There's consequences for your actions. Stop, or we fight. What is it gonna be? So yeah, that was just a crazy experience. And then I was like, texted Al, and then like Al's like, where are you? I can't find you. Blowing up my phone, thinks I'm fighting this girl. I called Madison and I'm like, dude, I don't know. And she's like, don't like do anything stupid. Like, just calm down. Like, I get it. Like, she's really like, she's throwing shit out. She wants to get you like riled up. But then like Al comes to me on like closes me off on this side and Joe closes me off on this side and they're like searching for me, trying to find me. And I'm just like, you know, I really have to let it go and I really have to let them. But it was like ugly big bitch, like all these crazy things. And I'm just like, I've just never, like, who the fuck are you? Who are you? And like, who do you think you are? It was just crazy. 0 out of 10 recommend. I wish that we could have just fought because I just would have felt better about it. Because it felt like I had to let it go. And like she like feels like she like it's not like she won because like
But you just have to let them.
I had to let her, but like it wasn't like I cared like, oh, she thinks she won. Like, honestly, I apologized. So like if anyone won or feels any type of way, like I apologize for where I fucked up and you're just like fucking throwing rage bait at me. So yeah, it was just crazy. I couldn't let it go for like weeks. Like somebody like would say something and be like, well, I'm just a big bitch. Like, and I had to really just let it go, but it just was like in my head rent free. Yeah. Like I couldn't let it go because there was no like, I think this can people can relate to this in other ways of like when you don't have like closure on something. Yeah. Like being able to let it go is kind of difficult. Like there was no closure. Like this girl's just fucking. Yeah, like I was thinking of Maddie Brooks. I was like, she would have been the perfect person to be here right now because she would have fucking like fucking done. It was like the same. Like she could have been the perfect person. Like I feel like I used to be a lot more like and like now I learned how to be a little bit more like, listen, like I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. A little more mature, maybe the word is. Yeah. This girl clearly was just very immature, but you know, it was a great story to tell. So there's that. But yeah, she really lived in my head rent-free for weeks. Feels good to finally evict her and really give her the boot and fill that space with more pleasant thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just gotta let them.
As fuck.
At the end of the day, you just gotta let them. If somebody wants to call you a big bitch, let them. If somebody wants to call you ugly, let them.
It's just like, don't lie. Don't lie. I'm not ugly and I'm not a big bitch. So let's just choose things that are real. You could say like your outfit's weird or something, like, or like something like that makes sense. Like I didn't come for her at any point. I just said, "What are you looking at?" and called her a bitch. But like I didn't say anything about the way she looks or like, except for to you guys, with like the whole Oz thing. But like other than that, like I didn't say anything like really aggressive to her face because like what is that gonna do? Really strange, guys.
I think these people these situations come into our lives to challenge us to see if we've evolved and grown.
I have,
because an old version of you would have probably ripped her hair out.
Oh, I would have just fucking like launched myself at her like a crazy person.
Yeah.
I was very proud of myself for even like being able to apologize. Like being able to apologize to somebody who's continuing to like scream in your face is really a crazy thing to do. Like I just knew it was like the right thing to do because
at the end of the day, the only person that you are left with is yourself. And if you sat there and made her feel horrible, you still would have felt bad.
Yeah.
Because
that's not going to make me feel any better.
Exactly. So, what have we learned today?
Let them as F. Also, little side note is I went through like, I don't know if I talked about it. I talked about the book that I read last time, and then I just realized because I left it here for Brittany to read. She hasn't picked it up. But I picked up another book, which is The 7 Husbands of Hugo. Is that it?
I don't know.
Wait.
But I saw
Evelyn Hugo, I think, or something like that. I heard amazing, amazing things about it. And it's the same author as the book that I read before.
7 Husbands is crazy.
7 Husbands is wild. I read the back of it. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to like this. Like, it's just, this storyline, like, it's just not something that I don't think would interest me. I was very pleasantly surprised. I read it on the plane ride to, I freaking ran through that thing, put my phone down, and just read for, like, the whole plane ride. I didn't even want to put it down.
Wow.
Like, it was so good. But then I just, like, had been off, and, like, not, like, I need to get back to, like, when I'm like reading in the mornings. I feel like I feel good when I'm reading in the mornings and not picking up my phone. So I'm trying to get back into that because the book is really great.
That's something that Mel Robbin said on the Khloe Kardashian podcast. She said that something nobody will do, but something everyone should do that she does like 7% of the time is she doesn't, like, we shouldn't be sleeping in the room with our phone. Like, your phone should be in a completely separate room because so many of us wake up and the first thing we do is scroll, and how that's just not good for anybody.
Well, so I think it's like I like seriously have some like memory issues, and it's like somebody said it's like tied to that.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's like constantly being on social media. It's like,
well, also just being on social media and scrolling and stuff, like we've both talked about how sometimes we'll literally just go from app to app and back and forth and whatever.
It's like mania.
Yeah, and it's not
Is that a
like
word?
Yeah. Okay. And I just feel like that's not like being able to do things like having a good morning routine and reading and stuff like that. It like brings you back to the slowness of life, and I think slow living is definitely making a comeback. I'm very much in my slow living era.
A slow living summer is on the way, and I felt it today. I felt it today. Guys, it was 80 degrees, 82 degrees outside.
Wow, I don't think it got that hot here.
It was so nice. I went on like a hour-long walk with Goku. I laid in the grass in a bathing suit, for fuck's sake. I mean, it was just amazing. I was just like, I can't wait. I sat in the hammock for a little bit. I was like, I can't wait for it to be summer. If the pool was open, if the pool was open, it would have been over for you bitches. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So
that's something I have to put on my to-do list is getting the backyard.
Wait, do you want to tell your story with the landscape?
I was just thinking about it.
Because that's kind of let them, and then we could wrap it up on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys a little story, a little let them story, and it's also a little shocker. So, okay, I have this landscaper that I've been using for like 4 years, and I had a little bit of a tiff with him at the end of last season because also something that I feel like has really aided in my like personal development is learning to say no and just be okay with like, it's okay if I disappoint people. Actually, I was talking to one of my good friends, Nicole, about this because there was something that like came up and I was like, I don't know, should I go to this thing? And I could, but this, that. And she was like, you always do things for people. And I feel like Nicole is really like becoming a more and more of like a good friend for me. I mean, she's always been one of my closest friends, but she just has so much good advice lately for me, which is great because she's gonna have a baby soon. So I feel like that's very motherly of her. But she said like you are always like doing kind of like the most when like if you just don't want to do something, you should just say no. You don't have
Wait,
to
that's
just...
what Mel Robbins talks about.
Does she?
Yeah. She has like
Okay.
a whole. Wait, wasn't that Jake? Was that in the Jake Shane?
It might have
episode?
been. It might have been.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah,
Like
'cause I
being able
think
to say, yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah.
Being able to like say no to things, like just
Yeah.
because you don't want to go. Like,
Right.
It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
anything else.
Right.
It doesn't be because you actually can't.
Right. So I'm just learning how to say no to things because I definitely am a people pleaser and I try to do everything that will make, I think I place my value in how other people uh, view me and feel about me. And I always want people to think I'm a good friend and think I'm a good daughter and think I'm a good partner and think I'm a good sister and think all these things that sometimes like I'll do things that because it does make me feel good, but it's hard when it's not always reciprocated. Like it's easy for me to do that with my sister because I know my sister will do the same thing back for me. So it's like that's why we have a great relationship. But when you do that for like friends who then don't reciprocate it, it can be kind of heartbreaking. So I had this thing that I was like, I don't know if I should do it. And she was like, you just have to learn to say no and it's okay to say no. And so I'm just starting to like find my strength and just like kind of putting my foot down, but still being like, it doesn't have to be a mean thing. It's not like, oh, I have to have a mental breakdown if I'm gonna let someone down, even as somebody like my landscaper, literally no joke. So my landscaper last year,
Brittany's a very unique person.
last year, my landscaper, like sometimes I'll say, don't come this week because it's like $55 a week and he comes and he mows my lawn. And not, it doesn't always have to be done, but it's like part of their job, whatever. I understand they like depend on it, but also that's not a reason for me to pay somebody. You get paid for a job if a job needs to get done. So sometimes I would say to him, like, don't come this week. I don't need anything done. You can skip this week. And he would just say, okay. So I said to him at the end of last season, the last week or whatever, I said, I don't need you to come today. He came anyway. And then
Which is just rude.
It is. And then expected me to pay him and like kind of made a thing about it. And I was like, I'll pay you, but don't come again this season. Like I'm done. And I didn't need him to come anymore. So because we were going to be away, I think he came and I was like away. I was in Italy or something, or I was on my honeymoon. Like I didn't need him there because we're not even home.
And I couldn't even pay you.
Right. But I just dealt him. But still, it's like the point is like, you shouldn't just come if I told you not to come. So then we got into like a little bit of a back and forth about the spring cleanup because he wanted to charge me like he tried to like act like he charged me $500 last year. He only charged me $300 and we had a little bit of a disagreement on that, which I just think that's crazy. Like what is your standard price? You shouldn't just jack it up 200 and then it's no problem to drop 200. Like just that's weird to me. Normally he will text me and say like I'm going to start weekly like landscaping next week. So I was just outside yesterday and I literally looked at my lawn yesterday and I was like, if he texts me that he's coming next week, I'm going to tell him I don't need him to come yet because the lawn's still pretty short. It just was like a rainy week, but still my lawn's like patchy still and all this stuff. So then on Friday, I wake up and I hear the landscaper and I think to myself, that can't be my landscaper. He didn't text me. So I think it's like across the street, but it keeps getting closer and closer. And then I hear it in the backyard and I'm like, what? So I look outside and it's him. So I text him and I'm like, hey, I see that you're outside. You didn't tell me you were coming and I don't need the lawn cut right now. So then he responds and is like, okay, my other customers I've been going to for 3 weeks. This is the first day and you're mad? Like having an attitude with me. And I'm like,
which is crazy.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I start typing something and then I see he rings the doorbell. Now I'm like in bed. So I get up. I'm like, I'll be down in a minute. I get dressed. I brush my teeth. I literally was not ready to get up and have a conversation. So I go downstairs and he's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine, but you didn't text me and tell me that you were starting weekly service and I don't need it yet. The lawn is short. So basically he comes on this machine. He's not out there with a lawnmower. He's on this like truck. Basically he drives around the yard. So he's just they're driving around the yard for no reason. He's not even cutting anything. There's nothing to cut. Like if you go to the barber shop and they cut you with a certain kind of a blade, and it's like, let's say it's like a, you know, whatever it is, a
Yeah, but
1
your
inch
hair is
thing.
not long enough.
It's just
not
gonna cut
anything.
nothing. It's the same thing with the grass. So he's just literally driving around, and I'm paying him $55 for driving around the backyard. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to be disrespectful of his like time, but still, I didn't need the lawn done.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me. I would have told him not to come. So this is where it gets crazy though. So he was like, well, whatever, you don't want to pay me, then don't pay me, and that's it, we're just done. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, it doesn't really have to be that big of a thing. It's just that I didn't need the lawn cut this week. And then he goes, like, as in he was like kind of like firing me as being his client, which I was kind of like, all right, I mean, there's landscapers a dime a dozen around here, but fine. So then he goes, this is the kicker.
No, this is crazy.
Then he goes, you have all of this work done in your house. You had all this construction done inside. You paid all of that money for that. That's none of my business, but you can't pay $50 to have the lawn done.
Did you gasp?
I literally was like, I went, excuse me? I was like, I didn't do that for fun. I had a flood in my house. I said, I didn't pay for any of that. Insurance paid for that. And he's just like looking away from me, like he wasn't making eye contact.
The audacity. Okay, first off,
even if
I pay you for a service, what?
It's also, I'm paying you for nothing. I'm paying you to literally play in the backyard now.
But he play. But like and the thing is, he's not fucking stupid. He was trying to get like just make an extra buck and like be like a scammer. Literally, fuck off. Don't look into my house or say anything about the construction of my house. That's literally rude.
It's also like, that's up to me.
It's none of your business.
Right.
It is. So you saying it's none of my business, actually the sentence should have stopped there. It's none of your business. Keep it to yourself.
But I actually was like, that the fact that that's what's in his head, and he was just thinking I'm just like a cheap like white girl or whatever. Like I literally said to Tyler, I was like, he probably just thinks I'm like a cheap Jew. Literally, like that's how he was acting. And it's like, I'm paying you for nothing right now. I'm literally paying you to do nothing. The lawn, there's nothing to cut. So you coming here and driving around in the backyard does nothing. So I'm paying you for literally you to be here for 10 minutes. That's so dumb. But I literally said to him, I said, I will pay you today for being here. But I said, I just want to be clear that the work I had done in my house, I didn't pay $1 for. I got married last summer. The last thing I wanted to do was move out into a trailer and have work done in my house. So
while planning a wedding.
Right. And it's also none of your business. So I was like, I said, I don't want to have issues with you. I'm happy to use you to do my lawn. Like he comes in, I know he knows where everything is, whatever. But
it's like, that's where Brittany's a little crazy because everything is. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I know. But I was just like, I literally shook his hand. I said, listen, I don't want to have any problems with you. I said, I will let you know when I'm ready for my weekly service. And he goes, well, I'll come by. I have a few other clients over here, so I'll come by, and if the lawn looks long, I'll do it. I said, no. I will let you know when I need the lawn done. But I was really proud of how I handled it because I was like, you know what?
Get flustered.
I didn't get like, I mean, he was like, you could tell he was agitated. And I was just like, listen, it doesn't have to be like this. I think this let them mindset is just so good for the soul. I need you to put in big letters across the screen, let them as F. Is that the title?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Let them as F.
Let them as F.
But yeah, I just feel like it's made me a better person. I feel like everything is so good in my relationship right now, and I think that's because I'm showing up as a better version of myself, and I'm not letting like my anxieties control me. I feel like right now my friendships are a little quality over quantity. There's less friends in my day-to-day life, but you don't need too many, man. And I just feel like if I make space, new ones will come if they're meant to. Yeah. And I'm just really enjoying learning to prioritize me right now. And I feel like the best way to do that is just not control everybody else around me, or not even try to, and just let them, right? Let them and let me. I really urge you guys to go listen to 2 episodes that Mel Robbins did. She was on the therapist episode with Jake Shane and the Khloe Kardashian episode on her podcast, and they were both really good. I actually said on my story, I could listen to these over and over and over again. It's so valuable, and it's just that little reminder of what the things that you need to hear and just like reprogramming your brain to think a certain way. So that's your homework for this week. Go listen to those 2 episodes.
Wait, I had a nightmare that I had to go back to school, and like I was in classes, and it was when I was staying here, and it was literally the fucking scariest fucking nightmare.
It must be the house because I've been having nightmares like every night.
Oh.
But I think I've been having them because I was watching Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, dude.
I had a nightmare that I had something, and then I had a wedding the next day, and I went to the wedding, and I was like late, and I missed like an hour and a half, and then she like wanted a refund for that time, and like all of this stuff, and like I didn't really get good video, and then I was like the camera wasn't working well, like all of this stuff.
Oh.
But I also feel like I need a good positive show. If you guys need a show recommendation, what was that show called that I told you to watch with Kate Hudson on Netflix?
Like Ballin' or something, Running Point, or like
it's something like basketball themed. It's so just
I think
feel
it's like
good.
Runner's Point or Running Point.
I don't know, but it's just like such a good feel good.
It's kind of just like silly. It's not like too deep.
Right.
It's not really a great show.
And now I'm watching Succession and Handmaid's Tale. They're literally doomsday.
I watched Severance, which I think everyone and their mother has seen, but other than Brittany, which is such a good show.
I guess
Again, the beginning's a little slow, but you just have to hear them out. But it's a great, 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 great show. I'm not a big show movie person or like anything like that, but it really got me like hooked, and we like couldn't put it down, sort of thing.
My favorite thing ever was when I don't remember if it was my Hulu account or if it was HBO. I think it was my Hulu account that like one time I was like talking to my mom and my sister, and we were talking about like whatever, and I was like, well, you could just like log into my Hulu and watch like something. And then like literally the next day I like just went onto my Hulu account, and all of a sudden like they both have profiles on it, and I literally was cracking up because I just thought like, oh, they'll go on my account and just watch something, not like make profiles on my account. And for the first time I felt like the mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like when somebody has an account and then like there's like, you know, like my mom pays for Netflix and like we're all on her Netflix, like I'm the Hulu. Yeah. And now I'm the HBO too. Do you have my HBO? Yeah, and so does Evan. Evan has my HBO too.
So funny.
I think you made a profile on my HBO.
I did. Is it bad to make a profile?
No, I just think it's so funny because I wasn't expecting it.
Well, I didn't want to watch them under yours.
Yeah,
and then,
no,
like...
it makes sense, but I just thought it was like funny because it was unexpected. So I was like, I just told them, and literally the next day they both have profiles on my Hulu. Like I just wasn't expecting it, but anyway. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode
like
of the
tired.
Do you want to have a sleepover?
Oh no, not the sleepover.
Okay, but let them. Whatever. You don't want to sleep over?
No, I have a training tomorrow.
Let them. If they don't want to have a sleepover with you, let them. If they don't want to hang out with you, let them.
Oh God.
Be your own best friend.
This one, man.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of the iWorld. We're so happy to be back. Yeah. What are you laughing
The way
at?
you were saying it was like, it sounded sarcastic. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you so much. I can't even wait to discover Brittany and Talia this summer. Maybe next episode will be a little summer edition. Summer and ChatGPT combined.
Yeah, the summer chat AI takeover.
The possibilities are endless. When Summer and ChatGPT come together.
Summer and ChatGPT had a baby. And her name was Winnie.
Winifred.
Bye, guys. Ta-ta for now.